Hello people, we are Tottenham TV, back here for some more Igor Tudor content. Obviously he is the next interim manager. Everything is set bar the announcement, so just waiting for the announcement from Tottenham Hotspur now. And we're going to be looking at a few different tactical variations which he can play. We know that he plays with a 3 at the back, 3-4-3, 3-5-2, 3-4-2-1, whichever way you want to look at it. We're going to look at the different ways that he could potentially set up with this Tottenham team, barring in mind the injuries that we have at this moment in time. But let's get into it and let's look at the 3-4-3 first.
Yeah, so obviously he's been a manager at many different clubs, and he has, when he first started, he did start with the back four, but it seems that in the last few years, especially last like 5 to 10 years, he's been exclusively using a 3-4-2-1 kind of formation. In his last job at Juve, that was his main formation. So with the players we have available, this is probably what it's going to look like. The problem is we want to play a 3 at the back without enough fit centre backs. Danso's out injured, Romero suspended, so we are lacking in natural centre backs at the moment. But Van der Ven's still there. Dragoshin has started the last few games. Paulinho, we think, is probably going to fill in there at the moment. There could be a question: could it be Archie Gray? Potentially, he could play there. But I think with Paulinho, with his ability to step into the centre-back role and actually in good effect, I think he's probably going to side with him, and I think his ability to play midfield, meaning his on-the-ball ability, might be a bit better than some other centre-backs. I think he's probably going to do that. And also I think he's the kind of manager who's going to want Paulinho on the pitch, because I think he's a fighter and someone who has that aggression on the pitch that we need, and we need to impose ourselves physically. So I think he'll like Paulinho. I
get the feeling with Paulinho that once Romero comes back, Paulinho shifts to the midfield. I do believe that.
Yeah. So I think for the time being, without Romero, Paulinho will be here. So he plays kind of, as you say, 3-4-2-1 with kind of 2 tucked inside number 10s, Moani and Simmons. We're going to go with a double pivot of probably Gallagher and Sarr. You've also got Gray. You've got Basuma. Potentially you can play in those roles as well. But I think with Gallagher and Sarr, you have a good balance of just work rate, ability to cover ground, and obviously Gallagher can get forward and provide in the final third as well. He wants his wing backs to, be quite aggressive, provide a lot of width, get forward. Obviously Porro's quite decent. I think Porro is good for getting forward, but then does he have the fitness to be up and down as wing back? But then again, that's how he made his name at Sporting, being a wing back, so it did work there. But I think there are question marks whether if he gets too far forward in these positions, does he have the recovery ability to get in here, get back in time without being caught out? But then I guess maybe that's where Paulinho comes in. And then the question mark on the left hand side, obviously Doggy is injured at the moment for the next month. There is Jed Spence, who is obviously the senior player, can play on the left back, but a wing back, is he good enough in those areas to provide what Igor Tudor want for wing back to provide in those areas, which is getting to the byline, getting crosses in, providing a threat there. But on the flip side, you probably back him to be physical enough to recover into these positions if need be. So he's kind of you've got opposite problems at the moment with Porro and Jed Spence. I think in maybe an ideal world, maybe he would want potentially Spence on the right hand side and another wing back there.
If Porro isn't completely fit to play the North London derby because he is recovering from an injury, I guess the way they're going to go is Spence on the right and Sousa on the left.
I think he might have to risk it and go like that. If
he's got no other option, is he?
Yeah, unless you bring in Gray. But then if you bring in Gray, kind of like you've got 2 players you're not happy with, whereas in this position, at least you have Spence, who you are, and maybe Sousa. Does he have the physical qualities and the confidence to dominate a whole left-hand side like a wing-back has to? It's tough to say. It's hard. It's a big ask, isn't it? You probably have to say no. He obviously came on against United and did all right, but it's just a small sample size. He then wasn't picked at all for the next game against Newcastle, so clearly Frank didn't trust him. But maybe, a few days of training and maybe Tudor can give him that confidence to.
I wonder what Tudor's like is giving minutes to young players.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
That'd be quite interesting to find out.
Yeah, I have to do a bit more research on him. Obviously, he does like these little tucked inside number 10s, kind of Glasner-esque, which I think definitely suits Xavi for sure, with his ability to roam all across. When it comes to Moani, He actually did do this quite a bit for Frankfurt in this kind of position with a kind of ability to pull out wide and also run in behind. But for Spurs, I don't know what his best position is, so maybe we know that Tudor will know that because he has played with Moani a lot and he got a lot out of him. He had 8 goals in 16 games under Igor Tudor, so hopefully he'll know the best place to fit Moani. Obviously, you could do that, or you could maybe bring Gallagher there where he is and put a new number 8 in there. But I think he's going to want to start Moani, unless you're thinking no Solanke, but he's got to start Solanke, doesn't he? Obviously, obviously Tell could come in and play there. But given his history in Moani, you'd think he's going to start, don't you?
Yeah, you'd think so. And looking back at his time at Juve, is this the formation that he predominantly went with Juve, or was it a 3-5-2 with him and Vlahovic up front? Or
it was a 3-4-2-1 predominantly. He did sometimes play 3-5-2.
So if it was a 3-4-2-1, that Moani was favoured ahead of Vlahovic?
Yeah, Moani, but Moani was more playing here with another winger, let's say Tell or whatever. That's what he would have. I mean, I guess if we didn't have Solanke, maybe he would have played like that. But that's obviously something like this we'd see. I think he's going to like Solanke. I think Solanke is very important for us. So I do think Solanke will start. I think this will be probably the formation he starts with on Sunday against Arsenal. I'd probably assume that, unless it could be something like this, with maybe Moani a bit closer to the last line, running in behind, and then Xavi dropping into a 10 like that.
3-5-2.
Like a 3-5-2, 5-2-1-2 kind of box here. He might like that as well. I also think that might suit Moani better, and also have Moani and Solanke playing off each other. Might work quite nicely with Solanke holding the ball up, Moani running in behind. Nice dynamic there. And you've got Xavi just like roaming, probably licensed to go to the right, to the left, and also fill in a 3 here if need be. And obviously we know he's got good defense, like he works very hard. You could also think maybe he could do this, or maybe maybe drop Xavi potentially and put either a Basuma or a Gray in the middle for certain games, and just go like a proper 3-5-2 with 3 workhorses in the middle, and just really clog up those central areas.
I think he could do that, but then you take off one of Moani and Solanke for Simmons and go for like that kind of diamond in the middle.
Yeah, he could. Well, like that.
No, so Simmons in the 10.
And just one up front.
And one up front, with Sousa and Spence given the license to be a bit more attacking.
I think if you're going to do this, if you're going to have 3 like that, you're going to need 2 strikers, because otherwise he's going to be so isolated, you'd think. He's going to need a partner up front. Mm-hmm. Maybe Simmons kind of here, like
Simmons will be drifting all the time, like a second striker kind of role.
Yeah, like a support striker potentially. Yeah, I think that's potential. Is there enough? I mean, look at that team, and I'm thinking, how the hell are we going to attack?
Yeah.
So, with 2 attacking players. So I think if he's going to play a 3-5-2, I think you need another striker on the last line. That would be the reason to do it. I kind of like having like this with where's Moani? Or Tell as well. I actually think this would suit Tell, by the way. Maybe him on the left-hand side with Solanke on the right, and his ability to maybe drift wide, also be like a second striker pulling in, and he's got good finishing ability from cutting inside. So I think having 2 up top will suit Tell, maybe even more than being on the left. I think up front on his own he struggles, but maybe up front in a 2.
But it'll be an up front in a 2, and he'll have the ability to drift to the left a little bit as well.
And obviously Gallagher, you got supporting here. You got 2 players with brilliant stamina with Sarr and Gallagher. But then again, you obviously risk being outnumbered in these areas unless Xavi drops back, or unless one of these drop in, like Paulinho can drop in potentially on occasion. It might be a case. I've also read he likes the 3-4-1-2 in possession, and then out of possession, it becomes more of a 3-5-2, like that, out of possession.
Yeah. And
the defenders drop back. So we might be seeing a bit of fluidity there as well. But he's someone who likes aggression. He likes the wing backs to be aggressive. He likes to play on the front foot, but he does have a pragmatic side as well. He's got an ability to drop back and not go overly over the top with how Tottenham commit their players. But hopefully it should add a bit more energy. It should add a bit more stability. And hopefully it's a bit easier on the eye because you've got a couple of
You bloody hope so, wouldn't you? You bloody hope so. In terms of players that we could get back, like Bentancur, maybe a bit later on in the season, he's obviously worked with Bentancur before in the past. Like, he might fit this system, wouldn't he?
Yeah, because I think
we saw him do well under Conte.
Under Conte, I think him with Gallagher, I think he'll probably like that. He did, I think, in that box-to-box kind of. Then again, he did well under Conte, but again, that was pre-injury. We don't know how he would have done in that system post-injury because I think physically it's really affected him. Obviously, once Romero comes back, he slots in straight into that back three over Paulinho. Does Paulinho slot into midfield next to Gallagher? Again, I don't know if I like that, Gallagher and Paulinho together.
I think Romero might go in the middle of a back three.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And have him playing those passes in between the lines.
And then you got Kudus as well, who'll be back at some point this season.
Which I think he'll probably play Kudus in one of those 10 positions. Where is he? There he is. He'll be back in April, so still a while.
You know, with Kudus though, we saw him against PSG in that game play in a 3-5-2 as one of the strikers, and I really like that role for him.
I think when we drop off the ball, I could definitely see him playing like that, with the number 10 dropping back, and then if we hit them on the transition, you got Kudus and Solanke both there. I think definitely he could do that, but I think for sure I could definitely see Kudus doing quite well because could be quite good in the central areas as well.
Yeah.
As much as we also like him out wide when he's got that space to dribble, I think in the tight areas he's quite hard to get the ball off sometimes. So
absolutely,
I think definitely him in that role with getting close to Xavi could work.
Yeah,
as well.
So I mean, they're the only players that are due to come back. Obviously, a doggy as well, but we know where a doggy's going to play. Has he ever played a 4 at the back system?
Yeah, he has. He's done it, but not for a while. His system in the last few years has been 3-4-2-1. That's been his main formation. But he has played it before. Similar to how early in Conte's career he played it, but now he plays pretty much back 3. Although Napoli actually plays back 4. But maybe. Look, it depends, I guess. He'll have to take a look at the squad, won't he, and see what exactly is the best fit, and he'll make that decision. But I envisage he'll probably go to what he knows, and that's a back 3.
I was looking at the stats as well behind Igor Tudor, and you know the starts that he had, first 8 games for Juventus and first 8 games for Lazio. Was it Lazio?
Yep.
Yeah, we're just so strong. I think 6 wins in both those starts. And that's exactly, if we can do that at Spurs, then we'll be completely fine.
And we will be safe halfway through that run.
He would have done his job in the first few weeks of being here.
Exactly. So we just need a new voice, someone who's going to motivate these players, someone who they respect, someone to add a bit of energy into training, add energy onto the pitch, and someone as well to let the shackles off a bit in the front line, which is clearly at the moment. It's like so much long ball football and running in behind and chasing lost causes, where we could do with someone who can just develop a bit of on the ball possession based kind of attacking patterns. And I think Tudor has a history of doing that.
I think, look, there's a lot of reservations about Tudor, and I completely understand it, but I don't understand it in the way that he's come in and the role that he's come in to do. You know, he's not come in to be a long-term manager and the answer to Tottenham. He's come in for the sole purpose, save our season in terms of don't let us go down. And I think he'll do that. I really do believe he'll do that. And yeah, it's just time to get behind the manager, get behind the team, and let's see what can happen in the North London derby next week. So yeah, I wouldn't say exciting times ahead, but like, if you're thinking like he's going to come in and completely revolutionise the way we play and we're going to be an unbelievable team, that's obviously not going to happen. But I think he's going to serve his purpose and get us enough wins to stay in the division. I can't believe like we're still sitting here and talking about that, but this is the situation we're in right now. So
we just need a new manager bounce, and I think he could be the guy to give it to us. As much as he's not exactly had the most stellar managerial career, he does have a history of making instant impacts. That's been a trend with him,
which is all we need.
That's exactly all we need. And it's a bit of a weird one. Like, obviously we've let go of Frank, and we've sacked him. And as much as I'm happy that decision has been made because it needs to be made, I'm not sitting here like delighted that with the position we're in. Unlike in other scenarios, you're like, okay, this guy's gone. Now there's looking for a brighter future.
Well,
at the moment, it's more like we're in the shit, and just because Frank's gone doesn't mean we're not out of the shit yet. So until that is, then no one's going to be comfortable.
Yeah, that could have changed if we made a decision earlier.
Yeah.
With the way the league is, but it didn't. We're here. The job on task is to save ourselves from relegation, and it's not about performances, and it'll be nice to see a bit of good football along the way, but it's all about results right now. How many results can we get from now to the end of the season? Is it enough to save us from being relegated to the Championship? There's also the Champions League run, which he's going to get, which obviously we won't know until the end of the month who we're going to be playing in the last 16, but there's that to think about as well, and how good has he been in Europe, has he managed in Europe, and what's he done in Europe. So
I don't think he has the best record in the Champions League, but no one's expecting to win in that competition anyway.
Yeah, true. But those are the ways that he has been lining up in his previous jobs in the past few years. This is the way that we think he can line up for Tottenham. So let me know what your preferred solution is in the comment section below. And we'll see you next time, people. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.